Verheil and good morning. I am Ulf Hovards,
I'm Hayes Thorson.
and this is another episode of Ulf Hovards Feast Hall. I want to welcome you this morning. Today, for the next series of recordings, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the 9 noble virtues, and we are going to do one virtue at a time. Today, we're going to go over the virtue of honor. Now, before we get into all of this, what I want to do is, y'all have heard me in my podcast before. I like to promote my friends, brothers and sisters on this path, or even if they're not on this path, I like to promote authors, musicians, people that have crafts trade, anything that they do that they make a living on, or they sell, or they publish an author. I like to promote them. I like to put them out. I like to build them up and help them in their venture. And today, there is a good friend of mine by the name of Bear Griff, who is an up-and-coming author. He has the book that he is authoring is called The Primal Living Reset. And what this is it's not a new form of workout. As you see, we have a lot of different fad fitness workouts. We have a lot of fad diets that people are trying to push out there. What this is it's basically going back to the basics of how our ancestors would have worked out, exercised, made themselves stronger. And being that we are on a path of elevation and progression, this particular workout that he has, it's actually a pocket guide that's designed to improve and maintain, strengthen the mobility and longevity without the confusion of those fad diets and the complications of these fad diets that we see. Its simplicity, hard work, and mindfulness are the foundations and the philosophy that he has put together and formed within this guidebook. He is a former Marine. He is a family man. He is an outdoorsman. He has lived out in the wilderness and has put these workouts and these exercises to use in living out there. So I encourage you. You will see. I'm going to add right somewhere floating around in here is the cover of the book, and I want to let you know it's coming out in about 2 to 3 weeks. It will be available on Amazon, TikTok, and Instagram. I will put another promotion out, letting you know exactly when it is out. So I encourage you, brothers and sisters. This man, he's a great man, a good family man. He has served our country, and his workouts and methods are applicable, and they are on fire. They're on point. So give it a shot. Take a look at it. I encourage you. It's not going to hurt you. So, being that said, we are going to dive into the 9 noble virtues, and the first virtue that we're going to discuss is honor. And it's an interesting one that and we actually had planned this weeks ago to do this on the 9 noble virtues and on honor. So, what is your take, Hayes, on the virtue of honor?
Well, honor meets so many different facets of our life. It's being truthful. It's being there for people when they're in need. If somebody asks you for something, it's being a true friend. It's being there for somebody when they're under highs and when they're under lows. It's so I don't know. It's just very in depth for me. I tell you, is my life. I can speak for myself that I always thought I knew what honor was, but until I actually came over and started living the virtues that we live, I really didn't know what it was until I actually started living it. And it's mind blowing, and it's crazy how it took so many years for me to actually figure it out. But ever since I started on this path, it just got so much easier to see dishonorable people. It's like it's crazy, you know what I mean? Not being judgmental, but you know what's going on. So
that's very good. That's very good. I want to read something out of the Havamal to y'all concerning virtues and lack of virtues. It is stanza 132. They who are seated often know not what manner of man enters. None is so good, he lacks all fault. None so wretched, he lacks all virtue. Now, this is the sayings of Har, as we know it, Odin's words himself. All right? And honor does carry, it covers a broad spectrum of areas. I actually looked it up in the dictionary just to see what all kind of definitions I could find. And the majority of them were dealing with honoring somebody, giving them an award, lifting them up on a pedestal for their great deeds and acts, which is great. But that doesn't show us or tell us what it means to have honor, to live in honor. And by what we have of our ancestors. Now, can also keep in mind, this is something I've always wondered. You know how the English language has elevated. It has evolved. Definitions have changed, and it makes me think, how did our ancestors actually define what these were? Is it the same as what we define it today? The English language, the translation of different languages has changed. So think on that. And I would love to hear your perspective on that in the comments if you choose to do so. What do you think that our ancestors, how would they have defined honor back in them times? We do have resources that tell us that one of the biggest things was having a good name. Their role in the community was a big factor in their honor. Whether or not they died an honorable death in battle, whether they avenged the wrongs done to them in their families. Now speaking on that, there's a reason why I bring that up. There are some, and I'm going to use me as an example because I seem to be renting space in certain people's heads, dealing with my dark past, my past history, and I do have a dark history. I don't hide that, and I'm not bragging about it. I'm not proud of it, but it happened, and I was not on any path at all. I had no honor. I had no gods and goddesses. I had no integrity. I wasn't raised I was raised in a Christian home, as a matter of fact. I wasn't even raised in a cultural environment setting where honor and integrity were even pushed or taught or encouraged. So do you think, in your perspective, Hayes, can a man that had no honor, was in a place in their lives that they had no honor, that once they come upon, let's just say, this path, the Norse pagan path, and they apply the virtues, these same virtues that a lot of people disregard, which are all throughout the Havamal. And if you study the Havamal, you will see perfectly clear hospitality, truthfulness, fidelity, industriousness, self-reliance, perseverance, honor, courage. You will see these 9 noble virtues all throughout it and through our Lord. Do you believe, in your perspective, do you think someone can fall into the categories of having honor and integrity?
Definitely, absolutely. I mean, like what was the passage you just read? It's like, you know what, we all have made, like, some of us have made crazy mistakes in our lives. I have, you know what I mean? And yes, I mean,
if Odin himself, I don't mean to cut you off,
no.
But if Odin himself makes it clear that none is so wretched that they lack all virtue, that tells me that a person that was living in a non-honor life or a dishonorable life, a life with no sin, no gods and goddesses, no anything, that they can obtain these. This is how we become our best version. This is how we come into our fullness. This is how we elevate and progress. When you are in a lifestyle that is lacking of this, you can gain these virtues by applying them. And I know firsthand that this has happened. So one's name was a very important key in their life. And for me, honor has become one of the most treasured gems I have in my life. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again because there might be someone that has not ever heard it. The honor that I have gained in my life means so much to me that there was a point that I thought that I had lost this honor in the eyes of Odin and the gods and goddesses. And I was troubled with this. And I am willing to go to such degrees to gain it back that I actually physically tried to offer myself as a sacrifice to Odin, literally, and cutting my wrist, as in literally, and offering him to regain that back. And I was stopped, of course. I'm standing here. But from what I gathered from my meditations and from what Odin and the gods and goddesses revealed to me, was that the physical death was not required, but because of my will and intent to make such a grand sacrifice as myself physically, that my honor was restored and gained. So yes, you can gain honor if you had none. I also think that you can lose your honor. But, however, I also believe that you can regain it back by cleaning your well, which can take time, and that's a whole nother series that we could get into. It is possible to clean your well from the negative actions, behaviors, thoughts, and all that. It just may take some time, but if you're willing to put in the effort, positive will negate negative.
Absolutely.
People define you by your past actions. How do you correct that? I'm going to tell you. Very simple. You create new ripples. When you make an action, boom. If it's dishonorable, if it's negative, without integrity, it's going to spread. It's like throwing a stone in the water. It creates ripples and it expands and widens, and it'll go forever if you allow it. But you can correct that by creating new ripples, new actions, new thoughts, new behaviors.
There's a saying that I heard a while back, and it really hit home to me, and this is one of the reasons that really got me thinking about this. Was a man can do a million good things in his lifetime, but one thing bad, everybody's going to remember that.
Absolutely.
And all those good things are going to forget. So then I started to strive to stop doing bad stuff, to not do, to always think, and that's one thing about our path, is to constantly put other thoughts and everything, like think about everything before you say it. Think about everything before you do it. Think about what's going to happen, what the outcome of it is going to be.
Absolutely.
And what can happen to you or them. You know what I mean?
Because your actions the consequences, it affects everybody that's tied and linked to you. Very, very important, yes. So having a good name, doing what's right, even when it's hard, even when it's the hardest time and you really don't want to.
Right.
The honorable thing to do is to continue to do it.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Okay. And you have anything else on honor?
No, I'm
It's really cut and dry. I don't want to bleed a turnip, but honor is, there's many different variations, many different definitions of it. But from the resources that I have read dealing with honor, the main staple was having a good name, making sure your name was intact, it was not stained, and sometimes it does get stained, but you know what? It can be cleaned. Your well can be cleaned. And I encourage you to have a positive mindset, and if you do have a dirty well, and you want to elevate and progress, and you want to get the negative stain off your name, put in the work, clean your well, adapt and apply honor and integrity, like the nine and the other 9 noble virtues. You got the have them all is filled with characteristics and virtues that you can apply in your life. Our lore is filled with the heroes of their acts and behavior of honor and integrity. Learn how to apply those. Application brings transformation. Just parroting them doesn't do it. Just knowing a definition doesn't do it. You've got to apply. So that's going to be it for this episode. I encourage you, brothers, read the lore, read the Have 'em All, study the virtues, apply them. Also, don't forget, Bear Griff, the Primal Living Reset is the name of his book. It will be out in 2 to 3 weeks. I will let you know again once it gets closer. It's going to be a great book. It's going to be a great workout that you can apply that's going to help you, because when we elevate and progress, it's not only our mind and our spirit, it's also our body. And just think, the Vikings back then didn't have workout machines and weight machines. They did have heavy weapons. They had heavy shields. They built their longhouses, their temples. But they also had variations of strengthening exercises. And this is kind of what he has built here. It's going to be a great book. I encourage you to check it out. Y'all have a great day. The gods and goddesses guide